On this episode, we chat with Khun Natapanu Nopakun about his daily English briefings for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
So if you'd like some insight into the inner workings of a government agency very important to foreigners, you'll dig this episode of the Bangkok podcast.
Sawadee krap, I am one of the voices of the Bangkok podcast. My name is Greg Jorgensen, a Canadian who came to Thailand in 2001 and immediately traded my passport for a sweet wooden frog that makes a croaking sound when you rub a stick on its back, so I've never been able to leave. I'm not sure if you've seen those, Ed.
I hate those damn things, too. And I made Knut, the other voice of the Bangkok podcast, an American who came to Thailand on a one-year teaching contract almost 20 years ago, fell in love with needing a second shower by noon, so I never left.
Nice.
Before we start, a huge thanks to all of our patrons who support the show. Patrons get a whole bunch of cool stuff, including our regular show a day early, behind-the-scenes photos and videos of our interviews, discounts on swag, which you can find on our website, and various other things that aren't available to regular listeners. But best of all, patrons also get an unscripted, uncensored bonus episode every week where we riff on current events and random topics. We just finished recording this week's bonus show, and we chatted about Greg's new mask-oriented fashion renaissance, our thoughts on how not being able to have things like booze or travel makes us want them more, and where in Thailand we're planning to go once we're allowed to and feel safe heading out on vacation. To become a patron, head to bangkokpodcast.com/support.
Yeah, man, how the prohibition on travel and booze is just going to turn us all into like alcoholic travel fiends.
That's right.
All right. Well, on this episode, we are honored to have someone that many of us in Thailand are familiar with, Khun Natapanu Nopakun. If you don't know the name, you probably know the face. Khun Natapanu is the Deputy Spokesman for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the guy who gives calm, cogent, and articulate daily English briefings online and on Thai television about the COVID pandemic. Now, it's no surprise that many foreigners often find information from the Thai government lacking in detail and nuance, which can be very frustrating. So having Khun Natapanu explain things every day in a clear and concise manner is very much appreciated by the Farang community. So I connected with him online during a break in his busy schedule, and he gave some really cool insights into how he tailors his message for a Farang audience, how his ministry is structured, and what his daily routine looks like during this very strange time. So here is my conversation with Khun Natapanu Nopakun. All right. Well, Khun Natapanu, welcome to the Bangkok podcast. Thank you for making time in your busy schedule to come on. It's great to sit down virtually and talk with you.
It's a pleasure, Greg.
Yeah. So have you listened to the show before? Have you listened to the Bangkok podcast?
Yes. Well, actually, yes. I've listened to, I think, episode 20 and 21st of your podcast. It's very interesting to get all these perspectives you get, very, very casual type.
Yeah. I mean, that's the purpose of the thing is, we've been here a long time, but we're still trying to figure out Thailand and we need a little bit of help. So talking to people helps us, peek behind the curtain, so to speak.
Yes.
So your title, I think, is Deputy Spokesman of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Is that correct?
Yes, Deputy Director General for the Information Department and Deputy Spokesperson at the Foreign Ministry. You're right.
Okay. So the Foreign Ministry, can you sort of give me an example of how it all fits together? Like the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is the big organization, and you sit underneath that, or how does that work?
Yes, that's right. So the Foreign Ministry is like the State Department in the United States. So my department, the Department of Information, is one of the around 8 or 9 departments under it. So it's like a bureau in the government service. Okay. And how many people are working in your office there? Just out of curiosity. Yeah, our department has around 40 staff and officials and staff. Okay, right. And if someone asks you to describe your job, what do you do every day? What do you do? I mean, people see you on TV, but I'm sure there's a lot more to it than that. Yeah, sure. So the Department of Information is actually, if you look at the name of the department, it's kind of vague. I mean, people would think it's all about just information, but it's actually in more clearer terms, it's more about public diplomacy.
Okay.
So bringing things about foreign affairs, international collaboration to the public, and also it's about media relations as well, and also it's the spokesperson's bureau. So, for example, we have positions that we let out and express on various global issues and things like that. But all of this is on foreign affairs, and our audience is both, of course, Thai and the people around the world as well. So that's the usual work that we do at the Department of Information. We talk about the bilateral relationship that Thailand has with other countries, as well as our role in the United Nations, the UN, for example.
Interesting. So how did you get the gig for the spokesman who goes on TV every day and walks people through this particularly interesting / crazy time? How did you end up doing that?
Okay. Well, when the COVID crisis began, of course, the government set up the Center for COVID Situation Administration, or CCSA, and they realized, I'm not sure, of course, who sparked up the idea, but they realized that in terms of crisis communication, it's very important to reach all audiences. So the status quo, usually in normal times, of course, you would see press briefings and news and outlets coming out all in Thai. In Thailand, it's usually in Thai. Of course, we're not very bilingual in Thailand. But for this particular case, the government saw that it was necessary to get the cooperation and understanding and awareness of all sectors of society, which includes the English language audience. So they reached out to the Foreign Ministry and asked for a spokesperson or deputy spokesperson to help assist in the English language version of the briefing, so that everyone can understand the situation from the beginning.
Right, and they reached out to you because you were educated in the United States and your English is pretty decent, probably better than mine. So you got the job.
Yeah, well, they would have to find someone from the information department anyways. So my bosses felt that I might be the appropriate person for this as deputy spokesperson as well. So, but of course, the task that people see on television, it's not only about interpretation. So I don't only interpret what the spokesperson of the CCSA mentions. That's Dr. Tawisin. I don't only interpret what he says, but I also add information to the English language and foreign audience as well, which is different, of course, from the Thai audience. Like for some local issues, it might not be relevant to the foreign community here, but some other issues might be more relevant. So that's the value added of that.
Right. Well, that leads me into my another question I have. Do you tailor your communications or presentations differently for an English audience rather than you would for a Thai audience? Like, how would you describe each audience differently? How do they digest the information differently?
Sure. Yes. Exactly. It's a different content for the Thai and the English language audience. The Thai audience would be very focused on the actual numbers and situation, what they can do and cannot do. The English language audience more or less have an understanding already of what the measures are gonna, how the measures are gonna impact them. It's just that they have a lot of specific details or specific questions that they want to be answered, like if they can travel between provinces, or like about entering the country and things like that. So for the Thai audience, it's more of the everyday living and business-oriented side of things. For the foreign audience, it also affects them very much because there are some measures which were announced that don't affect the foreign audience. Like, for example, about schools in Thailand or about the financial assistance to Thai nationals. So that doesn't affect the foreign community here. But they're more interested in other things, like if there was one issue about entering the country, and then also about visa extension a few months ago. They needed their visa to be extended because they couldn't travel out of the country and things like that. So it's more like more detailed, more personalized needs in terms of the English language community. I mean, of course, all of them call Thailand home. So my press briefings have tried to be very inclusive. Because if I translate only the English language, the Thai language portion into English, it would be just for the Thai audience, but in English, so it would be different.
Right, and I guess each audience needs sort of different practical information of the day-to-day lives, which have some overlap, a lot of overlap, but not all the time.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. Yes.
Yeah, and that leads me into my next point I wanted to say is that, you know, for years here I worked as a journalist and I had a journalism visa and I dealt with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I gotta say, as Thai government institutions go, the MFA is really on the ball. You know, I mean, all government organizations in any country around the world are filled with a certain amount of bureaucratic red tape and inertia and things like this. But in Thailand, as a foreigner, it can often be a little bit overwhelming because you're at a disadvantage because of your language skills. And, you know, you have to remember the smile, the Thai smile and the saving face thing and all these little cultural nuances that we might not have to use when we're dealing with government organizations. But I thought the MFA did a really good job when I was dealing with them. Everyone was on the ball, super smart. Most people spoke really good English and was able to get across the ideas very well. So kudos to you, sir, and the MFA in that.
Thank you. Exactly. We were trying to do that because we realize, of course, that our relationship with the world, you know, would need proper communication, or if it's very inclusive and address all needs of you know, all different groups in Thai society.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be clear. As foreigners, we should absolutely speak Thai. We are in no position to demand that we need to be communicated to in English. Like, it is our responsibility to learn Thai. So we get that. That being said, it is very nice to see that there is an effort being made to sort of meet in the middle. So is there work, you know, I wish there was more Natapanus in other organizations. Is that something that's sort of on people's minds? Because a lot of times the communication is just not sufficient for non-Thai speaking foreigners. And it's confusing and it's overwhelming and frustrating.
Yeah, but basically, of course, all ministries have spokespersons, and all Thai government agencies seek to have their information or communication into other languages, but it's not been happening that much because of the perhaps lack of resources and people who are able or have time to do that. But more or less, we have a sort of like a group of Thai government agencies that are actually in touch with the English language community. Like the Public Health Ministry, for example, they have releases in English way back. I mean, they had that for a long time, but perhaps it wasn't that much publicized or that much accessible to the foreign community. So it's something that we're trying to do. I wouldn't say that there should be more Natapanus, but I'm actually a prodigy of the other capable people in the foreign ministry. There are a lot of capable people in Thai government service. Many are educated abroad and can communicate well with the world in any issue, from whether they're in the labor or science ministry or agricultural ministry. Many have been educated abroad, but when they come back to Thailand, of course, with the bureaucratic system in every country, it limits you somewhat to be able to do some things and not yet to be able to do other things. Of course, priority-wise and everything as well. So it's just like it's beyond reach. It's within reach. Sorry, it's within reach that we can expand this sort of communication to the general English language audience in the future.
Is there anything? I mean, besides becoming fluent in Thai, which we should do anyway, is there anything that foreigners can do to improve, like the information that we're able to get? Like, is there any websites we can go to? Is there any resources? I know I'm asking you off the top of your head, but a lot of those guys you mentioned, those capable people who are communicating in English, I don't know where to find them. I don't know where to look. I guess each individual website is a place, but a lot of the websites are in Thai only, so it's often confusing.
Yes, most of the agencies have English language pages, but most at the moment, frankly speaking, they're not that much updated. We are integrating this already. Like, for example, the Public Relations Department has a good English language page. The National News Network of Thailand, NNT, which is linked to Channel 11, also has the Public Health Ministry, and Thai PBS, Public Broadcast System. Thai PBS World has English language programs and a page as well. So I guess it's not available yet in all ministry or agency websites, but in terms of the news outlets and certain departments, they have that. So it's still kind of scattered a bit. So we hope that there's actually a committee under the Public Relations Department who are talking about this in streamlining, working to streamline the communication we have with the world. Firstly, it was websites and availability on the ground of English language content and official information, and then comes the outreaching and all the rest. So this committee is working into many things that are still needed in Thailand. I mean, perhaps it's something that we've overlooked, but then I think we won't overlook it for long because all issues are global and all transnational issues affect everybody regardless of citizenship. So nationality. So the communication is key. So I think soon it's going to be quite integrated. So hoping that the foreign ministry will be able to help other agencies in doing this as well.
Well, in the meantime, I mean, because it's on all of us to get off our butts and learn some Thai and get more become better skilled, because that's absolutely what we should be doing. So, can you walk me through your daily then? I mean, this COVID thing is sort of a quickly moving, quickly developing situation that affects everyone in the country and outside the country. There's a lot of moving parts. Can you walk us through your day? Like, what do you do to work up to the briefing every morning?
Sure. Yes. Our main goal, firstly, of course, is to expand our public outreach of the efforts in Thailand, and then, of course, provide the English language briefing in English. So, if to walk through the day, first of all, the structure first. It's not only me. I have a team of young, capable officials under me, around 12, who actually work on a rotational basis. We call them teams A to teams E. So there's 5 teams, A, B, C, D, E, and they rotate coming to assist me in all these things. It's been going on for almost 2 months or more already. So of course, if I were doing this alone, I would probably be dead by now. But our capable officials help us from the beginning. So in the morning, firstly, there are around 2 pre-meetings to discuss the various issues of the day. One at 8:30 and then another one at 10:30 in the morning. So myself and the team attends those meetings with various other agencies, with the health ministry and other agencies at the government house. So that meeting would, of course, perhaps summarize the different issues that are important for the day that needs to be communicated to the public. My team comes up with as much information and script as they have, as they can, taking into consideration all the news, all the policies, measures, the cabinet meeting, the prime minister's directives, the numbers of people coming in the country, repatriation, number of sick, and everything, all the public health data as well. So they put all of this together as much as possible into a script, which I have to edit and use before 11:30 that day to provide the English language summary. But at the same time, when Dr. Twisin talks about the briefing, the information in Thai, we'd have to, of course, listen to him for any real-time information that's different from what we know. And then we put that all together, and then I am called up to the studio, and then I, of course, provide the summary, all of this summary, perhaps in around not over 15 minutes for the English language audience. There's also Q&A inquiries received on social media. Every day we have people monitoring that on Twitter and Facebook, especially for foreign citizens. They have questions every day. We try to take that every day, and I try to address it every day. So the content is a little bit different from the Thai language edition, but we attend the same meetings from the beginning of the day in the morning. When the briefing ends around in the early afternoon, we have to, after lunch, of course, we have to regroup and then discuss the strategy for the next day, and then perhaps return to the office and see what new issue or policy directive is given about COVID or the communication, and then the next day starts again. So this has been since the end of March until now, and then we're still energetic because we know that it's an important issue for the country, and I'm happy to have a good team, and our collaboration with other agencies involved is superb.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That sounds like a long day with a lot of people and a lot of like I said, a lot of moving parts. So kudos to you. And then after that, I guess it's time to put your feet up and have a beer.
Hopefully now the weekends we don't the English language version is not on the weekends because the briefing is done at the Public Health Ministry, and there's an assistant to the spokesperson at the Health Ministry doing it. So we don't have to do the English language version on the weekends now.
Right. Now, let me ask a question: is we all love Thailand, but the fact of the matter is, there's people at the top of the bureaucratic government chain that don't like certain things to be said and don't like certain things to get out, and they like to sort of keep a tight lid on the flow of communication. Are there any concerns for you? Like, does your stuff have to be cleared by anyone, or do you have to pass it by like any? I don't want to use the word censors, but like people who sort of give it a quiet nod or anything like that.
Well, there's a general guideline for spokespersons around the world. I mean, wherever you are, if you're a spokesperson of your organization, there's a general guideline. But the spokesperson, I think, has a fair amount of freedom to answer the public. I have not received any issue or any direction that I should or should not say anything. There's a Deputy Director General at the Health Ministry as well who gave an interview on this as well, and then he said that he's a professional, so there is no one telling him to twist the truth just to make it sound good. I mean, right. to be blunt, and that Deputy DG at the Public Health Ministry gave an interview to the FCCT, the Foreign Correspondents Club of Thailand, and he reassured that. I'm mentioning this because it's the same for me. it's the same for the Foreign Ministry spokesperson. We try to be the most provide the most accurate information. We try to be the most balanced, provide the most balanced information. And of course, it's very easy for people to detect if you're twisting the truth a bit. Right.
My co-host and I, Ed, we were talking about this on a previous show, and there are some conspiracy theory minded people online, and you mix that with the fact that, like, as foreigners who are on even social media, or now we do this podcast, and we sort of have this in the back of our mind all the time that you have to be careful what you say when you live in Thailand. That's just the fact of the matter. It's just the way it is. So sometimes these conspiracy-minded people take it a bit too far, and there's all these crazy thoughts out there. But I don't think that's possible now. I mean, everyone's got a phone in their pocket. The information is flowing fairly quickly and freely. I just, for something like this, I don't think it would be possible to cover up anything. And even if there was an effort to do so, it would be the potential for it blowing up in your face and just setting Thailand back so far is so high that it's not worth it. So I think it's obvious that you and your team and the government in general has just sort of taken an open, as open as possible anyway. Like, look, this is a situation, this is the truth, this is what we're dealing with, and there's no reason to mess around with numbers or data or statistics or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's very, very true, Greg. I think like for COVID, I think the situation around the world, it's quite, even in Thailand and around the world, it's the same. It's quite impossible to conceal information. For example, there's always rumors going around in every country, right? So in Thailand, At one point there were like rumors about this particular hospital in a province in Thailand had like 10 people infected with COVID. That was the rumor. And then the government had to come out and say that it's been verified that it's not true, So it's very difficult to conceal, because when you think about it, if 10 people 10 doctors have COVID in a particular hospital, they would be so fearful of their health and lives, and their relatives would not, of course, conceal it. It would have to be known, and they would have to take care of their own people. So the truth will come out. the truth will come out that they were sick or not, right? So it's very difficult to conceal anything these days. Of course, with it's a social media world right now. But I think the case of Thailand might be different from other countries in terms of like communication, because there's one thing that I think perhaps you were asking about what the foreign community can perhaps do, aside from like following the available English language information and all, and the cooperation and everything. Perhaps one thing is, of course, to try to understand the Thai psyche, the Thai way of thinking. It's like sometimes we might not be direct or might not be as fast as other nationalities, but we get the things done. We get the understanding, the understanding, the cooperation done. It comes from within. So if you understand the Thai psyche, the Thai personality, and then we understand you, I think it's very useful, very constructive to understand where we're all at in which point. Whatever we need, we try to address it. Whatever we ask, the foreign community hopefully understands, and things like that. So it's kind of like heart-to-heart thing, It's you live in Thailand, so it's about striking a balance and understanding with the Thai personality.
Right, exactly, and it is absolutely our responsibility to do that. And I will say, there's at least one Thai person who speaks their mind very forcefully, and I'm married to her. That's good. But while we're on this topic, there's a very good book that everyone should read. It's called "Working with the Thais: A Guide to Managing in Thailand" by Henry Holmes and Suchada Tangtongtawi. It's a very good book. It's sort of considered a classic, and I think all foreigners should read that. And there's a couple of other books that we've had the authors on the podcast before to talk about them. And I mean, it's just a matter of putting yourselves out there and doing a little bit of work to understand this culture that we've adopted as home. So it goes both ways, right? We have a responsibility, and the Thai community has a responsibility. So if everyone does their part, hopefully we can meet in the middle and all be sabai chai.
Yes, that's very good. Yeah.
All right. Well, so where do we go to see your briefings every day? What is the social media channels we can check out? Where can we see more of this?
Right. Yes. So NBT2HD or Channel 11 is the main channel that broadcasts the daily press briefing in Thai, and then followed by the English version, sometimes with special guests from other agencies as well. So Channel 11. It's also on Thai PBS, and then afterward, it's also on the Facebook pages of the Public Relations Department, the Twitter of the Public Relations Department, and then private individuals as well post and continue with the dissemination of this briefing, including like Twitter bloggers like Richard Barrow or other agencies, other organizations, cultural organizations in Thailand as well.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll include all of those links in our show notes, and we'll put them on there. So if anyone's curious and needs to stay up to date, check those out. Khun Natapanu, thank you so much for what you're doing. It's very much appreciated by the expat community here, and big thanks to your team as well for all the work you do every day. And keep doing what you're doing, and we appreciate it. And thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Khun Greg. Indeed, I can see that many people in Thailand, the foreign community, are friends, true friends of Thailand, and wish you the best for Bangkok podcast and living in Thailand and loving Thailand.
That's right. Just wish it wasn't so hot in the summertime. Hey, that's
it's gonna rain soon. It's gonna rain soon. Yeah,
it's better than living through a Canadian winter. Let me tell you that. Okay, thank you, sir, and take care.
Thank you very much.
All I got to say is, you and I, we do criticize the Thai government a lot, but we do try to praise them when praise is due. And I think it's kind of cool that they have this English service and it's kind of catered to us. And he seems very competent. So I'd say I give the Thai government a thumbs up on this.
Yeah, and he had a very good point too. It sort of gave me a sort of like a ray of hope that, when the government is moving towards this sort of more a higher level of awareness of international topics and making sure that they have the correct and proper resources in place to deal with them appropriately. So, I mean, everyone's learning as we go through this kind of stuff, right? Like, yeah, it's a very fluid situation, and it's good news. I think that the Thai government is taking the right steps. So, the government's doing a pretty good job in this regard, and Khun Natapanu and his team are doing a very good job too. So, thank you, sir, for coming on the show. It was great to talk to you. And if you want to watch him every day online, we'll put some links in our show notes and check it out. All right, let's get into some love, loathe, or live with, where one of us picks a particular aspect of living in Bangkok, which we then discuss and decide if it's something we'd love about living here, loathe about living here, or have come to accept as something that we've just learned to live with no matter how we feel about it. And this week it's my turn to throw something at you, Ed. So in the bonus show that we just recorded, we talked about how we're looking forward to getting back to traveling and maybe heading out to some beaches and things like that.
That's right.
So I've got a beach question. You're sitting on the beach and you're soaking up some rays, beer in your hand, and a person comes up to you and says, "Do you want to buy some seafood?" "No, thanks." She moves on. And then 30 seconds later, someone else comes up. "Do you want to buy some barbecue?" "No, thanks." And then a minute later, "Do you want to buy some fruit?" And then, "Do you want to buy a sarong? Or do you want to buy an inflatable toy? And do you want
right.
to..."
Do you want a massage? Do you need a new? Do you need a new mat, like a beach mat? Like
Right. Do you want a henna tattoo? And then the same guy comes back 20 minutes later. "Do you want the henna tattoo? Are you sure? What do you think of this? Is this something that you get value out of, or what?"
No, of course. I find it really annoying. This is a subset of just the classic problem of being a foreigner in Thailand, especially if you're not Asian. And so obviously they know you're a foreigner. So this is a problem even in Bangkok, where you just get approached by people selling stuff because I guess they just assume you're a tourist. And it's especially bad, as you point out, at the beach, where you're kind of stationary, so you're not moving, so you can't get away from people. So this, I've experienced this many times, where you just get approached over and over and over again, and I don't like it. The bottom line is probably a loathe. I find it really annoying. You and I have joked before about creating some kind of symbol that indicates that we're not tourists. Like I want to have like either a baseball cap or a T-shirt or maybe a tattoo that like it's a symbol that Thai people understands that like okay, that guy's not a tourist. And sometimes I've even thought about just getting like the Thai word "mai" for no. Just have a shirt that just says no.
That's fine. I want to get a sign that says, like, in Thai, like, if I want something, I will ask for something.
Right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I loathe this. I hate it. My whole life has been, if I want something, I'll ask for something. I don't like people offering me things because if I want it, I'll ask for it.
That's right.
I got no problem looking for information and asking for stuff if I need something. But 99.9% of the time when someone offers me something, whatever it is, I'll say no. When I want it, I'll get it.
Agreed.
So yeah, I loathe this. I think it's really annoying, and it just breaks up my beach flavor.
Yes, I agree. But it's also socially a difficult situation to deal with, because all these people are trying to do is make a living.
I get it.
And I'm guessing they don't make a lot of money. They're busting their hump up and down the beach in like hot weather. So I sympathize with them, which makes it harder. Obviously it's rarely appropriate to be rude, but in this case, it's not really appropriate because they're just doing their job, and a lot of times they're smiling, and they're not being mean or harsh or anything, but they are constantly interrupting your piece.
Yeah, they're never aggressive. And, it's easy to let the first 5 or 6 go by. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Right, but it's hard
but by the 10th or 12th one,
right.
You're like, geez, no, leave me alone.
Yeah. So we gotta solve this problem, damn it.
I seriously think like maybe a Bangkok podcast branded sign. If I want something, I'll ask for something.
Thank you.
Just stick it by your chair or something.
Yeah, we can be very polite. We can just be like, "Thank you for your interest, but if I want something, I'll ask for it."
Yeah, exactly. That's a good idea. It's our money-making idea.
So I'm with you, man. A double loathe.
Double loathe, yeah.
All right. Okay, a final thanks to our patrons who help keep the show ad-free. Patrons get a ton of cool perks and the warm, fuzzy feeling knowing that they're helping support the show. Find out more by clicking support on our website. And connect with us online. We are Bangkok Podcast on social media, bangkokpodcast.com on the web, or simply bangkokpodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from our listeners and always reply to our messages.
True that. You can also listen to each episode on YouTube, on the YouTube, as the kids say. Chat with us online, or even reach out to me directly on Twitter if you'd like, Ryan, BKK Greg. So thank you for listening, everyone. Stay safe, wash your hands, and we will see you back here next week.
I know exactly why I don't have money.
Because you have too much technology? Or is it wine, women, and song, and the rest you waste?
More or less like that. Yeah, right, really.